to see that there's a regular meeting that is being organized by CET UAE targeting CTNs in UAE. I was happy to see that this is an initiative that is also helping people in their professional growth journeys. So I was hoping I could see people. I usually speak at sessions where I'm actually meeting people in person. This is quite strange for me. Strange for me to speak to a screen,
ഞാൻ ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചു ഏതെങ്കിലും ക്യാമറ.
not seeing people and seeing a response. And I like to actually have interactive sessions, right, where people can really talk and interact and
നമ്മുടെ
tap
സെഷൻസ്
into
ഇന്ററാക്റ്റീവ് തന്നെ ആയിരിക്കും. നോർമലി നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന എന്തെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ സ്പീക്കർ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് എല്ലാവരും കൂടെ സംസാരിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതൊരു കണ്ടിന്യൂറ്റി ഒരു ഫ്ലോ ഇല്ലാതാവും എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് വി വെയിറ്റ്. പിന്നെ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആൻസർ സെഷൻ പോലെ ലാസ്റ്റ് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാം എന്നുള്ളതാണ് നമ്മൾ നോർമലി ചെയ്യുന്നത്. വാട്ട് എവർ യു പ്രിഫർ.
Perfect. So ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഫുൾ ഡിസ്ക്ലെയിമർ, ഞാനൊരു സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ എക്സ്പെർട്ട് ഒന്നുമല്ല, ബട്ട് ഐ ഹാവ് ബീൻ ആക്റ്റീവ് ഓൺ ലിങ്ക്ഡ്ഇൻ ഫോർ ദ ലാസ്റ്റ് almost 2 decades now. And I have also been a very active community person. So I have really leveraged LinkedIn for my journeys as a community contributor, both on the open source front and specifically in the Drupal community. LinkedIn has also been quite helpful business side to build connections and to open doors to new clients and have conversations. So എനിക്ക് ഇവിടെ വന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഓഡിയൻസിൽ I do not know what is a spread of not too many people. എന്നാലും പക്ഷേ what is a spread business audience ഉണ്ടോ, അതോ mid level professionals ആണോ, അതോ entry level professionals ആണോ, ഒരു സെൻസ് ഒന്ന് എത്ര പേരുണ്ട് ഒരു 5 years and less എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള ആൾക്കാർ? ആരെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ?
ഇല്ലാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
ആരുമില്ല.
പിന്നെ ഒരു കാര്യം ഞാൻ ഇതിൽ ആഡ് ചെയ്തോട്ടെ. നമ്മുടെ ഈ സെഷൻ ആക്ച്വലി നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ റെക്കോർഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിനകത്ത് ഇടുകയും ചെയ്യും. ഫോർ ദോസ് ഹു കനോട്ട് അറ്റൻഡ്, അതൊരു ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ സെഷൻസും അങ്ങനെയും നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ സോ ആക്ച്വലി ഇൻഫാക്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ അനു പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ലൈവായിട്ട് ഇത്രയും പേരുണ്ടെങ്കിലും ഇറ്റ് വിൽ റീച്ച് to every person in our community.
Understood. Okay, so that's going to be useful. So irrespective of whatever is your background, LinkedIn is a powerful platform. But before I get into that, let me maybe give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Anoop John, as has been already introduced. I am the founder and CTO of Sixware Technologies, an IT company. We have presence in India, US, UK, and Australia. We focus on a couple of different areas. We specialized in Drupal as a platform, and we are one of the oldest Drupal companies in the world. We build and deliver large Drupal-based implementation. Drupal is a open source content management system. And we now have a separate unit that is also focusing on building AI-based solutions for small and medium organizations. So as a professional, I have found LinkedIn to be exceptionally useful to reach out to people that I have never met, that can potentially be helpful or useful in community-related activities that I have been very heavily involved with, and also on the business front. So if you go out and look for how to use LinkedIn, there is enough and more content online to figure out what are the steps involved. But something that I've learned over these years is that it is not the lack of knowledge or understanding that prevents people from really leveraging LinkedIn, but the lack of application. So I probably am guilty myself on that front. But what is required for you to really successfully use LinkedIn is to be able to dive in and embrace it as a platform. So it's not just a place where you update your profile and keep it there. It is a place where you really build meaningful connections. That's why it's called a network, right? You build meaningful connections with people that are relevant to you at your point of time in your career. So as a young professional, you would want to really learn a lot. You need to build relationships with mentors. You'd want to learn from people who have gone the way and have really made it out there. As a mid-level professional, you would want to really use LinkedIn as a platform to grow your career, find opportunities that you would otherwise not have access to. As a senior leader or as a business leader, LinkedIn is a powerful platform to open doors to new opportunities that that would have been so much more difficult without a platform like LinkedIn. So I have a small presentation that I've built. I've put together. It's mostly put together by AI. But feel free to interrupt or ask questions along the way. But I'll also be happy to take questions in the end. I'm sorry, I digressed from my background. So I started Sixware in 2006. It's a Drupal company, and we now have AI operations. Sixware has been very active with Drupal, and I have in the process, I was also very actively involved with Drupal community. I use LinkedIn as a mechanism to reach out to people from across the world. So probably I'm one of the most connected people in the Drupal community on LinkedIn. So I have touch points with local Drupal leaders across the world. I have also, while I was active in CET, I was also using LinkedIn as a mechanism to connect with CETians. I probably have maybe close to 2,000 CETians in my network that I have intentionally reached out and connected with over all these years. The good thing is that you are able to connect to them when you want to connect and without having the barrier of having to share personal information like a phone number. So let me start sharing the screen. Please let me know if you can see this.
Yeah, visible ആണ്.
So these are the three categories of people that I mentioned earlier. Somebody who is young in their professional growth journey is 0 to 5, 5 to 15, and then maybe 15 and above. But you can already be a business leader much earlier than 15 years of experience. But overall, these are the three broad areas that I wanted to focus on. And LinkedIn is not just a resume, right? You can update your profile, you can put your experience there, which is what most people do. But you can also use it as a mechanism to really to tell stories, right? To tell stories about who you are and why are you different from your peer group from around the world. So it is, and most people, right? If you take resumes these days, most resumes look almost very similar, right? I worked in this company. This is what I did. This is what I did. But you can actually be much more. You can use LinkedIn to do much more than that and tell stories about what you do, your experiences, what you have learned, and then that will give people the opportunity to actually see you, right? It is nobody's going to come and look at your resume or you look at your profile just like that unless they have a need to find you. But when you start interacting and posting content on LinkedIn, people will actually randomly see you when they browse LinkedIn without really trying to find somebody like you. And this is the mechanism through which you really build your visibility and find people that would actually benefit from connecting with you or on the in the other way that you could benefit in connecting with. So there are a couple of aspects when you're using LinkedIn. One is how you actually set up your profile, and two is how you really engage on LinkedIn. So the profile has these clear areas, which is almost like a resume. And I don't have to go through all of this, but you would already have, or you would already be doing this. But maybe a few key points that I want to touch upon. Putting a clear profile picture is very important for people to actually trust you when they connect, which most people have. I would imagine that most CTNs have a good profile picture out there. And headline is another interesting thing. It is also very powerful for driving search related traffic to your LinkedIn profile. If you put the right keywords in your profile, if you build the right impression, people will see your headline when you post content on LinkedIn, and people will see who you are through the headline that is also shown with the content. And then once people start looking at your profile, the area that they will look at is the about section on your profile. So it is you can use that to tell a story about who you are as a person, right? You can be creative and try to make it interesting enough and attractive enough for people to actually read through. So putting it as a dull section with telling about your experience history is not necessarily the right way to do it. I have pursued a storytelling approach. Different people use different approaches, but you can use your about section just like you would write an interesting story about who you are. Experience section, again, you can write about what you did, but that's not quite interesting. You can also tell stories about what you really achieved through what you did in those work experiences. So when I hire for people now, I don't really look at the resume. I look at the LinkedIn profile first before I go back to the resume. If I find the profile interesting, if I find that the person has actually done interesting stuff as mentioned on LinkedIn. So it's so hard to actually differentiate people these days, and it's going to get harder. Resumes these days are actually being created by AI agents and AI systems that most of the resumes take a common similar tone. So if LinkedIn is a mechanism that will allow you to stand out if you're out in the job market. And we also have a recruitment division. We use LinkedIn almost exclusively to find and source talent for our clients. So if you're out in the job market, and indeed LinkedIn, the value that people get out of LinkedIn, right? The biggest value that people get out of LinkedIn is on this front. That is using it as a platform to find people to hire and to find jobs to get to. Skills again, it is heavily used and abused on LinkedIn. So I usually don't see that as a value unless people really endorse that skill. So, but it is essential that you actually put the right key skills out there and build your network so that they also endorse you for your skills. So these are examples for how you should put your headline. I have not followed this, so you can do as I say and not necessarily do as I do. But there is also a reason why I used to follow this, but there's a reason why I have moved away from this. I do not want my profile to really look like a sales profile when I reach out to community people, which is why I switched back to a neutral tagline. But when you're out trying to use LinkedIn to really build your network and build your get your professional outcomes from that, it is extremely important that you make that impression with the tagline. So if you look at each of these, right, what we have is that we are actually talking about outcomes that these people are generating in their positions, guiding SaaS teams from Series A to 9-figure exits. So that's an outcome that this person is generating. He's not writing itself the headline as a CEO of this company or CEO of that company. Similarly for lower level, mid-level positions or junior positions as well. Make it interesting so that when they see your profile in a feed, they would want to go and check out who this person is. Again, this is also very heavily abused, so not necessarily be a big differentiator, but if you don't have this, it is definitely going to be a disadvantage when people see your profile randomly. So this is the storytelling structure that I mentioned earlier about your about section. You can make it interesting enough so that people will actually read through and see you as a person and not just a set of experience histories, right? They would want to really identify you as a genuine individual. So being genuine and interesting enough and creating value out there for people. So you can tell about what you do, what did you achieve, what problems do you solve, why is it exciting, what is the big results that you generated, what is the impact, what's your vision, and it's also good to put your call to action as to why you want somebody to connect with you, right? If you are a salesperson, you would, hey, if you are in this sector and you're trying to find somebody to connect with or with expertise in this area, then I'm the right person. Or if you're trying to learn a particular skill set or grow in a particular area, then hey, professionals who are trying to build and grow in AI or machine learning, love to connect. So this is the template that you can follow for your about section. And again, like I mentioned earlier, all of this information, what I'm sharing here is effectively out there online. But I would love to specifically address areas or questions that you have in the end about how to do each of these things. So in the experience section, this is also something that will make your profile stand out, because everybody will have a set of duties. And if you look for a software engineer, I write code, I design systems, I work with team members, collaborated with team members, reported to manager, reported, created reports, all of that, right? All of those duties will not make you stand out when you write it, because everybody else would also be doing it. If you flip that story around and talk about what you achieved in those positions through those activities, then that would make it interesting. But at the same time, it is also essential that you don't bloat your experience section with too much text. That will prevent somebody from glancing through it and getting a sense of what you did. So a clean bulleted list of items that you achieved in those positions would allow you to stand out with your experience sections. And it is also important to see if you can get some of these references for these experiences. So references are very powerful. So when we try to find people to hire, we use references on LinkedIn to see if this person is really what he is saying he is. And references are powerful because people will not, I mean, of course, people will put randomly references randomly, but based on the profile and reputation of the people who actually post the references, you can get a sense of whether all of these references are recommended, no, sorry, not references, recommendations. All of these recommendations are genuine or not. So putting good experience sections and correspondingly getting recommendations from people that you have worked with while you were employed in that particular position is powerful on LinkedIn. It's a very, it will make you stand out when recruiters look at your profile. So coming to content that you want to post on LinkedIn. So these are some these are some broad categorizations. This is not a these are not the only things that you can post on LinkedIn. You can do more than this. You can, I mean, these days people post a lot of memes even on LinkedIn. So getting people to see you, getting people to engage with you, getting people to understand who you are, what is the value that you deliver, what makes you exciting, right? What really brings people to your profile is not your actual content on your profile. What really brings people to your profile is uh, the content that you post on LinkedIn. So maybe I can maybe briefly touch upon how LinkedIn effectively helps you in building your network through the through its algorithm and how it actually shows your content to other people on LinkedIn. LinkedIn primarily tries to generate as much engagement and as much um, time, right? As much time that people spend on LinkedIn by showing relevant content to people. So if I'm using LinkedIn, then LinkedIn wants me to, if I'm actually scrolling on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn wants me to engage a lot. So it will show me the content that I typically would engage with. So what LinkedIn algorithm does constantly is to understand what kind of person I am, right? What kind of things that I like. And that need not, they actually, this is quite, the algorithm is quite brilliant. They don't just figure that out from your likes. I have seen people who don't like at all on LinkedIn, like zero engagements. But even for those people, LinkedIn has a sense of what they like based on how long they actually stare at a content on LinkedIn when they scroll down LinkedIn. So LinkedIn feed is used by LinkedIn to really profile each of us, right? Each of us in understanding who we are. And then the algorithm will show the person the content that will actually keep them engaged on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn wants you to spend as much time on LinkedIn as possible. That's how they make money. So in the process, they will use the information that they collect about you and then show you the relevant content. So this is how the algorithm works in its simplest form. But so how do we use that, right? How do we use that is to really post content that will be relevant to the people that you are trying to connect with and build your network with. So as a for each of those categories we mentioned earlier, right? For your entry level or entry level career professionals, we would want to really stand out in front of your peer group. You would want to be noticed by people who are looking for growing talent. You would want to connect with leaders in the community. You would want to connect with mentors who can help you grow in your career. So you would want to showcase your learning journey as an individual, right? There is so much that you can learn in your first 5 years of your career. And a lot of this is can be presented as interesting stories, right? Interesting insights that you generate, interesting experiences that you have gained through your career. So if you post that out there, it is what typically would happen is once you start posting, it will go into a black hole. You have no idea what would have happened, but you can also see people starting to visit your profile. So if you take the business professional plan on LinkedIn, right, which I would strongly recommend for people who are looking to use LinkedIn very earnestly and trying to generate outcomes out of LinkedIn, the professional plan is quite useful. It shows you detailed information analytics about the people that are visiting your profile. You can actually see the people who are visiting your profile. So once you start posting content, LinkedIn will try to show it to your network, and if they don't engage, LinkedIn will stop showing your content. So for people who are beginning to post content, this is one of the biggest frustrations. You start posting content, nothing happens, nobody engages, and you lose interest. But LinkedIn algorithm also needs time to figure out who likes your content and who is engaging on your content. So you'll have to give it around 3 months of time before you can actually get any kind of traction if you are using LinkedIn. If you want to use LinkedIn and to stand out among your peers, then posting content is absolutely essential. And if you do post content, then you have to persist with doing it for quite a bit of time before you can actually start seeing results. And even then, posting content alone will not give you the results. We'll come to that. But you will also have to engage very actively on LinkedIn. So one thing that you have to do when you post your content is to figure out some kind of schedule, right? Some kind of schedule that you can stick to, because my content, if I post it at 2 p.m. Austin time, right? That is going to be midnight in India. Nobody in India is going to see that content. So if I am actually targeting people in India with my content, I'm not going to get them, right? So my content is going to be seen by a set of people who are going to be active at that point of time when I post that content. So if I spread my publishing time, right, across the day, I'm hitting different people. If I post at 1 a.m. every day, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., if I post at 1 hour in increment every day, I'll be reaching 24 different segments of people over those 24 people. So there is no persistence of your brand, right, across the people who are seeing you. So if you want to really pursue LinkedIn content publishing, then you would really want to stick to a specific schedule for posting your content. You will want to, if it is 7 p.m. in the evening at evening where you generally find time, right? Okay, so I'm going to post content 7 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday, or I'm going to post content every 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. Whatever be the frequency, you would still want to stick to the frequency so that you will hit the same audience with your content on a regular basis. And that will give the LinkedIn algorithm the information as to who would generally like your content, who would be the kind of people who would like your content. It is not just that because with all the AI and machine learning and all of that, the algorithm also knows exactly what this information that you're posting. So it knows the kind of people who will also like that kind of information. But that brand recognition, that is that name recognition, right, is essential for people to even look at. If a random person walks around and talks something, right, I may not be that interested in knowing what the person is talking about. But if I hear somebody, hey, that's a CET alumni talking, right? Oh, okay, let me see what is he talking about. Or hey, this is this leader, this particular person that I personally know that is talking about something. Oh, I'm really interested in understanding what he is talking about. So getting that name recognition is a big part of getting your visibility grow on LinkedIn, and big part of that is actually posting content on a regular time on a regular basis. So this is again all theory. What really matters is your ability or your skill in actually creating that content and posting that. So this is a broad framework. What do you share on? I have absolutely no idea what do I share on LinkedIn, right? You can talk about things you have learned. You can talk about your experiences. You can tell stories. You can ask questions. You can post photos. You can post videos. These days, people are also posting a lot of photos and videos with their own faces in it, because one thing that is very clear on LinkedIn is that people stop their scroll when they see a person's face. I have also done this, and this is also a proven way to actually get people to start engaging with you. So if I have only 100 friends on LinkedIn and all of those 100 friends are my classmates from CET, when I post a random content on LinkedIn without any image, right? The post is a small snippet that will scroll by that people will not notice when they scroll. But as soon as I post an image, there's a higher chance of people stopping at my content. But the moment I post my photo on it, right, every one of those 100 people, even when they scroll through, they'll actually, oh, that's Anoop. They'll have, human mind is actually trained to uh, observe faces and to really focus their attention on people's faces. So faces is a hack on LinkedIn, but you can't always keep posting photo about yourself. But it's a good hack to actually stop people scrolling and look at what you're talking about. So videos are also powerful ways to get people to look at your content. So each of these content frameworks, the actual format can be a photo with content, format can be a video that you post. But irrespective of what is the way, what is the actual content, you also have to make it very interesting for somebody to read through, right? If you write boring stuff, people will spend maybe a couple of seconds on the content, not even a couple of seconds, much shorter than that when they scroll by. But even when they stop, they'll probably spend a couple of seconds to really decide whether to read through it. So a quick glance and they'll see, hey, this is interesting enough. This is worth my time to read through this. So share content. So that is a big, so the big part of creating content is not this theory. The big part of creating content is your ability to really fine tune these aspects so that you can actually see, so that you can actually create content that people will like, people will consume, and people will engage with. The theory part of it is all very straightforward. LinkedIn has been out there for, or I don't know, 20 years or close to 20 years now. And there is enough information about all of these things that I'm presenting here. But what really would matter is how you learn, by doing this. And again, it will take quite a bit of effort to really get a good grip of this. But this is the biggest, most powerful thing that you can do on LinkedIn. And this is the thing that will actually give you the highest returns. That is building this skill on figuring out how to create content, building out what people will like, building out that understanding of human psychology, right? What kind of things that you do tend to be interesting enough, what kind of things that you're posting, right? Or the approach that you're using to post the same information. The same information can be posted in several different ways. And how do you know what will work and what will not work, right? You'll also have to do a lot of experimentation in this process to see what works and what does not. So the indicators of how well the content is performing, it's very easy to get a like on a content, right? People can just click on a button and you can get a like. So like is like the lowest level of engagement that you can get on a content. A comment is a little more expensive for a person, right? I have to look at content, I have to understand it, and then I have to post a comment. So when you get a comment, LinkedIn will know that, oh man, this content is actually interesting enough for somebody to comment on this, which means that LinkedIn will also use that as an indicator to show your content to even more people. So comment is likes, comments, shares. So if I share your content, I'm actually taking a risk of using my reputation to promote your content. So which means that I am actually vouching for your content. So LinkedIn will use that as a next level indicator of how good the content is. Same is another mechanism. You really like this content, so you're really saving it for later. So with all of these, LinkedIn will actually detect how good your content is and then use that to amplify your content even more. So if I have 100 friends, or if I have 1,000 people on network in my 1,000 people in my network, and I post a content, LinkedIn will not by default show it to every one of these 1,000 people. LinkedIn will only show it to a very small sample of people in this 1,000 set of 1,000. And if there is engagement, it will actually expand that audience. It will show it to a small set of people. If there is engagement, it will show it to a larger set of people. And if there is even more engagement, it will show it to a much wider set of people. And if they do actually engage, the content will also go to their networks, the networks of those people who actually engage. This is how content get amplified on LinkedIn through engagement. But if there is no engagement, your content dies after a few initial sampling by LinkedIn, right? It will not get to anybody on LinkedIn. So you will create a lot of content, but nobody will see your content if you don't get any engagements. Now, this is the real hack for driving engagement on LinkedIn. Posting content is not going to give you any kind of engagement by default. What you really want to do is to go out and engage. So when you engage, everybody who posts content on LinkedIn is actually looking for engagement back, right? So engagement is the currency on LinkedIn. So if I go and engage on a person's content, I'm giving that person something, right? And that person will also notice me. Very likely, if the person is trying to grow on LinkedIn, the person will also appreciate the fact that I did take the effort to go and comment on his content. So he or she would take the effort to come back and look at my profile and see if there is something that I have posted which is of interest to that person. And they may not necessarily engage. It's only a first interaction. If I engage consistently on a set of people's content, they would, over a period of time, a fraction of that, right, would appreciate the fact that you are putting in that effort regularly, and they will also start engaging back on your content regularly. So this is how you start getting your network to activate on LinkedIn, right? And over a period of time, you will have a pool of people who are going to be regularly engaging on your content. So no matter what you do, what you post, assuming, so there is an assumption here, assuming that you're posting decent content, right? Content that is actually valuable. They are going to be coming back and engaging with you regularly, which means that you will by default get a boost to all of the content that you publish on LinkedIn. Now, how that would work is that if you build this audience systematically, right, over a period of time, you will stand out so much higher than your peer group. So most people don't engage. 95% of people on LinkedIn do not engage. Less than 5% actually would engage and post content on LinkedIn. So most people don't engage, which means that all of us, if we do not engage, are in a large bucket of people who do not get any visibility on LinkedIn. But the moment we start engaging, we go in this journey of getting visibility. And as you increase the volume of engagement, the visibility that you get is going to be much higher than your peer group, because once you cross a critical barrier, the jump will be so much higher. So it used to take me, when I started out on LinkedIn, it was so hard. I did not have a big network. I did not have a set of people that I engage with regularly. I also did not know all of these concepts. I'm also very regular. Put all of those together, it's very hard for me to really get any kind of traction on LinkedIn. But over years, I've actually built a network of people who I have engaged with a lot on LinkedIn, who actually engages back with my content. And in the process, I have also built a reasonably large network. So one good thing about that is that even if I don't engage much these days, I still get a lot of visibility. So I'm still a super small, I still have a super small network on LinkedIn compared to some of these large influencers out there, people with hundreds of thousands of followers. So they actually went through this journey and gotten to this point where even if they don't engage, right, they do actually engage on their own content, but they rarely engage on other people's content. So even if they don't go out and engage, they still get all the engagement that they want, because there's a huge volume of people who are trying to engage with their content. So getting to that point is the ultimate outcome, ultimate target that you would want. But to get there, you will have to do all of this outbound engagement. And outbound engagement means that you have to also deliver value. So the comment cannot be, hey, great content. Hey, thank you for posting. Oh, really, I like it. The comment has to be also about adding value to somebody who is going to view the comment. So the person who is going to view the comment is not just the person who posted the content, but all the people who are also seeing that content. So when you post a comment, you are effectively putting yourself in front of the audience of that person who posted that content, right? So your opportunity to put your profile into a network which is not already yours is very big. So you should use that opportunity to post meaningful comments on that content that actually adds value to the content that is already posted. It's not easy to do this on all pieces of content, but it is definitely doable. And the better you do this, the more visibility that you get, and the more organic engagement that you will also generate, both on the content comments that you post on other people's content, but also on your own content. So getting good at LinkedIn. So this is your first. If you are really serious about building your profile on LinkedIn, this would be the first thing that I would tell people. Hey, start doing this. Go start, spend 20 minutes a day. If you spend 20 minutes a day, don't just scroll by. See, find, search. I would say search for content that is actually interesting to you. Search for content where you have expertise on, and then engage on that content systematically on a regular basis, and keep doing that regularly, and then build your network of people who knows you by name, right? People who knows that, hey, Anoop posts content regularly, or Anoop interacts regularly around content on Drupal. Hey, Anoop interacts regularly on content about community related stuff, right? And then build your network of people who would also come back and interact with you, not necessarily, even if you don't post your own content, who would interact with your comments, right? And then along the way, you would also get the understanding of what kind of content works on LinkedIn. When you start engaging on other people's content, you will see what other people are posting, right? You'll see the kind of tactics that they use. So use that to build this understanding and build and get good at engaging on LinkedIn. So these are three approaches that people take when they try to position themselves on LinkedIn. These are not necessarily relevant for young professionals, but as you grow, as you build your profile, and as you are clear about what's the direction that you're taking, you can position yourself as an expert. You can position yourself as a guide who is actually trying to mentor people, who's trying to explain stuff, or an expert who actually puts up really hi-fi stuff, or as a connector who goes and massively connects with people and engages with people and build a community. So I mentioned this earlier. So you have to put a regular schedule of how you interact and engage on LinkedIn, right? Set up a time, whether it's daily or whether it's once a week or twice a week or thrice a week. If you're serious, I would strongly say engage regularly on a daily basis, even if it is 10 minutes a day at the same time. And posting content is harder, so you can start with once a week and increase it to twice or thrice or whatever is the comfortable level. So these are broadly the outcomes that people can generate out of LinkedIn. The one that really works for sure is in people helping getting people to find new jobs and finding candidates for positions. But the other outcomes are also possible, provided you are serious about LinkedIn and you're active on LinkedIn. Otherwise, none of these other outcomes are easy to attain on LinkedIn if you are not really serious and persistent and consistent about it. Once you are actively trying to generate outcomes on LinkedIn, then it is also essential that you do messaging on LinkedIn meaningfully. These are some broad templates. I'm not going to go through this. You can find all of this online. These are some broad templates, but these are also heavily abused. So in the past, LinkedIn messages were very effective in getting to connect with people. Not anymore, but it is still good to follow some standards when you send out messages to people. These are some things that you can be careful about when you operate on LinkedIn. I mentioned about profile, headline, photos, and not actively engaging, not posting. It's also another, the last one. So one thing that I've realized over these years is to just be yourself on LinkedIn. Right? Don't try to position yourself as somebody you are not. So just being yourself is like the most powerful hack on LinkedIn to make people really connect with you and deal with you as a person and not just as a random name that they see. I'm not going to go through the demo at this point. We are almost out of time. So LinkedIn is a powerful platform. If you want to build your profile and really want to leverage the power of 1 billion people out there accessible to you, but you will have to put in the effort and be consistent and systematic about it. You will also have to pursue this for a reasonably long period of time. I would say 3 months is before you even start seeing results if you're starting out. It could take 6 months to a year for any kind of real traction on the outcomes front. So that's all I wanted to share here. I would be happy to take some questions. I don't know what is the time availability, but I'll be happy to take some questions if you have.
Questions? ആർക്കുമില്ല. സ്ഥിതിക്ക് ഞാനൊരു ചോദ്യം എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ നമ്മള്
Sure.
അനൂപ് നമ്മളെ ഹെഡ്ലൈനിൽ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ കീവേഡ്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നല്ലോ. അപ്പോൾ ഹൗ ഡു വി നോ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ റൈറ്റ് കീവേഡ് ഫോർ അസ്? ഇപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ഐ വിൽ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ടു യു. ഇപ്പോൾ സപ്പോസ് എ കമ്പനി ഈസ് ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ സംതിങ് ആൻഡ് എ പേഴ്സൺ ഈസ് ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ സംതിങ് എൽസ്. രണ്ടുപേരും ഒരേ ഫീൽഡിൽ തന്നെയാണ്. ഐ ടെൽ യു, ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഞാനുണ്ട്, എൻ്റെ കമ്പനി ഈസ് ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ എ ബിസിനസ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ആൻഡ് ഐ ആം ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ something else. So how do we identify what would be the right keyword for each of these purposes?
So Google SEO ചെയ്യുന്ന പോലെ തന്നെ, so figuring out what the person who is actually going to ask when they are trying to find a person like you എന്നുള്ള പൊസിഷനിൽ നിന്നാണ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. You'll have to ask, hey, I'm a Drupal expert, right? Or I'm a Drupal developer, right? And so what do I what is this particular area that I want to get opportunities in, right? Hey, I want to find people who are looking to find Drupal experts who are good at performance optimization, because that's my personal technical expertise. Okay, so let's okay, Anoop, expert in Drupal scaling, million visitor page or million traffic websites, or expert in scaling large websites. Drupal expert with expertise in scaling large websites. So positioning, putting keywords that your target audience. It's not straightforward, simple answer alla. You'll have to do your search as the person who would potentially look for this and see what comes up, right? And then based on that, you will also want to see how to position your headline, what works on LinkedIn and what is actually effective. But you'll have to always do your questioning from the perspective of the person who is going to look for you, and your understanding of what you want them to see you as. എളുപ്പമല്ല, എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റേഷൻ മാത്രമേ വർക്ക് ചെയ്തുള്ളൂ. ചുമ്മാ ഇട്ടുകൊണ്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യണമെന്നില്ല.
മനസ്സിലായി.
And also it is also tied to your network, right? If you have a big network, your chance of actually coming up in search results are very high.
Okay, got it.
അപ്പൊ ഇത് ഈ ലിങ്ക്ഡിൻ ഒരു ഷോർട്ട് ടേം സ്ട്രാറ്റജി അല്ല. ലിങ്ക്ഡിൻ, if you are serious about LinkedIn, it's a long term strategy, and it is not going to give you results in 3 months, 6 months. 6 months to a year beginning to work. സെയിൽസിലൊക്കെ ഔട്ട്കം വരണമെങ്കിൽ it could take years for your but persistent effort
kind of depressing news ആണ് എനിക്ക്. കാരണം സ്പെഷ്യലി നമ്മൾ സെയിൽസിലാവുമ്പോ പ്രോബ്ലം എന്താന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല് കമ്പനി എക്സ്പെക്ട്സ് നാളെ രാവിലെ
Also it's now flooded, right? It's so much easier in the
it's
past.
flooded. അതൊരു വലിയൊരു പ്രോബ്ലം ആയിട്ടാണ് കാണുന്നത്. സ്പെഷ്യലി ഞാൻ when I'm looking it from a business side, നമ്മള് ഇപ്പൊ ഒരു അൺനോൺ ടെറിട്ടറിയിലോട്ട് പോവാണ്, യൂറോപ്പിലോട്ടൊക്കെ പോകുമ്പോ when we want to express ourselves as a company based in Dubai, ഇതില് ഒരുപാട് ഹോക്സും അതും ഇതെല്ലാം ഉള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് ഒരു ജെനുവിനിറ്റി ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്.
ആണ്.
ഒരു
അപ്പോൾ
വലിയൊരു
കണ്ടന്റ്
ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്.
പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ള സോ വൺ തിങ് ദാറ്റ് ഐ മിസ്ഡ്. So irrespective of whether you directly generate outcomes, right? LinkedIn is a powerful amplifier for your other activities. And if I am
Okay.
checking out a person who reaches out to me with a sales proposition, right? I would
Hmm.
always go check out their company and their profile on LinkedIn, always. And I may
Okay.
not, I did not find that person on LinkedIn. The person reached out to me directly, right? But even if the
Okay.
person did reach out to me directly, I will actually check them out. അപ്പോൾ ഭയങ്കര
Okay.
ട്രസ്റ്റ് ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഒരു മെഷീനറി ആയിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യും ഇഫ് യു യൂസ് ലിങ്ക്ഡിൻ ടു പോസ്റ്റ് ആൻഡ് എൻഗേജ്മെന്റ് മാത്രമല്ല, നോട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് യുവർ പ്രൊഫൈൽ, ബിക്കോസ് ഐ കൻ റൈറ്റ് എനിത്തിങ് ഓൺ മൈ പ്രൊഫൈൽ, റൈറ്റ്? But if I
Right.
post and then other people engage, then that is the part where you actually see credibility. ചുമ്മാ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതുകൊണ്ടും
Got
credibility
it.
കിട്ടാതെ, because I can post anything. If I post and and other people engage on my content, then അതിനകത്ത് റെപ്യൂട്ടേഷനും ട്രസ്റ്റും എന്നുള്ളൊരു ബേസിസ് ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പം I
Okay.
can see if this person is genuinely an expert. അത് ഫോൾസ് നെഗറ്റീവ്സ് എലിമിനേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അതായത് നമ്മൾ ജെന്യുവൻലി എക്സ്പെർട്ട് അല്ലാത്ത കേസിൽ അവന് എന്ത് പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത ആൾക്കാർ ഇത് ചെയ്യത്തില്ല. സോ യു വിൽ നെവർ റാൻഡംലി പിക്ക് എ പേഴ്സൺ ആൻഡ് അസ്യൂം ബേസ്ഡ് ഓൺ ഹിസ് പ്രൊഫൈൽ. യു വിൽ സീ ദിസ് പേഴ്സൺ ഇസ് ഗുഡ്. പക്ഷേ ആൾ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല അയാൾ
അതെ.
കൊള്ളാവില്ലയോ. കൊള്ളാവുന്ന ആളായിരിക്കാം. പക്ഷെ കൊള്ളാവുന്ന
അതെ.
ആളാണെങ്കിൽ ഗ്യാരണ്ടീഡ് ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഫിഗർ ഔട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും if they active on LinkedIn. അപ്പോൾ അത് ഭയങ്കര ഡിഫറൻഷിയേറ്റർ, because you will be already in the 5% of your network ആണ്. അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ only 5% actually actively does this.
ഓക്കെ. വേറൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വന്നെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഹൗ ടു മെൻഷൻ കരിയർ ബ്രേക്സ് ഇൻ ലിങ്ക്ഡിൻ എന്നാണ്.
സോ എനിക്കറിയാം, ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്കൊരു ആക്റ്റീവ് റിക്രൂട്ട്മെന്റ് ബിസിനസ് ഉണ്ട്. സോ നമ്മളിത് ഫേസ് ചെയ്യുന്നൊരു കാര്യമാണ്. ആൻഡ് വാട്ട് വി ലൈക്ക് ഈസ് ഇത് നമ്മുടെ what we like is when people mention it as to what did they do എന്നുള്ളത്. I took a 1 year sabbatical. മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? പിന്നെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒന്നുമില്ല.
ഓക്കെ.
മറ്റേ ഒരു വലിയ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ മാർക്കാണ്, വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻ ഹിയർ. എന്നെ ഫയർ ചെയ്തു, എന്ത് 2 കൊല്ലമായിട്ട് ഒന്നും ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, ജോലിയൊന്നും കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് if they post it, it's far easier, because I'm not going to ask him, right? I'm just randomly looking at a profile. It's easier if you have a good story to, if you have, I took, especially people who take a career break to do something else, or women who go take a career break to have babies, right? It's good to put it out there so that people know that, oh yeah, that's what happened.
Karthiyani, any follow-up questions on that? Because Karthiyani another post ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്. Any follow-up questions to what Anoop just said?
Exactly same thing. I got the correct answer. Thank you so much. This is what I exactly want to know. I took a career break for taking care of my baby, and I was planning to migrate from UAE to Australia. അപ്പോൾ PR കിട്ടി. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു ട്രാൻസിഷൻ പീരിയഡ് ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്കത് കറക്റ്റ്ലി എങ്ങനെ ലിങ്ക്ഡിനിൽ കണക്ഷൻസിന് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യണം, എങ്ങനെ അത് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
കരിയർ ബ്രേക്ക് എന്നിട്ട് എഴുതി വെച്ചാൽ മതി.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
വേറൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വന്നത് ഹൗ ടു ഗെറ്റ് വെരിഫൈഡ് സ്റ്റേറ്റസ് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്.
അതെനിക്ക് ഔട്ട്സൈഡ് യൂസ് എനിക്ക് അറിയത്തില്ല. ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഉടനെ അത് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് വെരിഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു തേർഡ് പാർട്ടി സിസ്റ്റം വഴി അവർ വെരിഫൈ ചെയ്യും. ഐ ഡു നോട്ട് നോ ഹൗ ദാറ്റ് ഹാപ്പൻസ് ഔട്ട്സൈഡ് ദ US.
പക്ഷേ ലിങ്ക്ഡിൻ ഒരു സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് സിസ്റ്റം ആയിരിക്കില്ലേ ഗ്ലോബലി? അങ്ങനെ ആവുന്നില്ല.
ആയിരിക്കണം. സോ ഇറ്റ് മസ്റ്റ് വർക്ക് സിമിലർലി.
അങ്ങനെ ആയിരിക്കും
I
തോന്നുന്നു.
did this long time back. എനിക്കത് എക്സാക്ട്ലി അറിയത്തില്ല ഞാൻ എങ്ങനെ, ബട്ട് ഇത് ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് വെരിഫിക്കേഷൻ ആണ്, ലൈവ് ഒരു തേർഡ് പാർട്ടി സിസ്റ്റം വഴി ഇത് വെരിഫൈ ചെയ്ത്.
അല്ല, UAE നമ്മൾ ട്രൈ ചെയ്യുമ്പം ഒരു പേഴ്സൺ ആണെന്നുള്ള ഒരു സെറ്റപ്പ് വഴിയാണ് കാണിക്കുന്നത്. പക്ഷെ അത് ഇവിടുത്തെ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ്സ് ഒന്നും അക്സെപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല.
അതാ. സോ ഐ ഡു നോട്ട് നോ ആക്ച്വലി.
എനിക്ക് ഇതേ പ്രോബ്ലം വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു ഷബീർ. ഞാൻ ട്രൈ ചെയ്തതായിരുന്നു, എനിക്ക് സെയിം പ്രോബ്ലം വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഈ പേഴ്സൺ ഈ ആപ്പ് വഴി വന്നിട്ട് ഞാൻ നമ്മുടെ നോർമൽ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ്സ് ഒന്നും ഇത് അക്സെപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല.
Okay, one thing that I would strongly say is you can ask this question to ChatGPT and interact and figure out. Because ഞാനിപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് അറിയാൻ വയ്യാത്ത കാര്യങ്ങൾ mostly I'll just ask one of these AI systems, ChatGPT or Gemini, and dive in, and then based on the broad guidance figure out ആണ്. So there's literally nothing that we can't know these days. പക്ഷേ I'll be happy to find that for you if you message me, കേട്ടോ.
ഇനി ഏതെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്? ഇല്ല എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. I think we will wrap up today's session. Thanks, Anoop, for taking this time. Sunday രാവിലെ I know you'll have a lot of engagements on a Sunday. At least relax ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ടൈം ആയിരിക്കും. But പള്ളിപ്പോട് I know it's getting time. So from CET UAE, a big thank you for taking time. വളരെ ഇൻഫോർമേറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സെഷൻ ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ അതെല്ലാം കൊണ്ടും ഇറ്റ്സ് സോ മച്ച് ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ഫോർ അസ്. ഇത് ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിൽ ഞാൻ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിൽ നമ്മൾ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ ആർക്ക് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തവർക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും സംശയങ്ങളുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ I think it should be okay if they reach out to you through LinkedIn or other thing. ഇനി ഈ ഒരു സബ്ജക്റ്റിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ. And Anoop has been quite helpful. ഞാൻ ആദ്യമേ റീച്ച് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്തപ്പോഴേ Anoop വിത്തൗട്ട് ഒരു മടിയില്ലാതെ പറഞ്ഞു I'll be so happy to join. So once again, thank you, Anoop.
Selfish interest. CETians എല്ലാം I really want to see CETians doing really well.
Family feeling is there എപ്പോഴും.
Yeah, absolutely.
So CET UAE ഭാഗമായിട്ട് I'm giving you a warm welcome. Next time നാട്ടിലോട്ട് പോകുമ്പോൾ do drop in UAE.
Thank you.
നമുക്ക് നേരിട്ടൊന്ന് കാണാം എല്ലാവരെയും. നമ്മുടെ UAE ബിഗ് ഫാമിലി ഷബീർ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ please drop in. Okay.
Yep, thank you. If anybody is
Thank
really
you so
serious
much.
about LinkedIn, thank you for the opportunity. So if anybody is serious about LinkedIn, I'll also be happy to answer questions separately. And then നേരിട്ട് reach out ചെയ്താൽ മതി. CET ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ guaranteed ആയിട്ട് ഞാൻ കണക്ട് ചെയ്ത് സംസാരിക്കും.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.